Oh my god, that's one lunar shard. 2 more to go. We can craft the Grim Reaper ring. Finally. If we can get the last 2 here, that'd be crazy. Oh my god, there's 1 more. Oh wait, there's a second one. Oh my god. Ooh, we're finally done. I grinded 1 hour and a half for these lunar shards. This ring better be worth than what it costs. Hey, Elemental Dungeoners, Bingus Breaker here, and today I have the Grim Reaper ring to showcase you guys, because as we know, the Grim Reaper is pretty strong, and the strongest point of the Grim Reaper are the skeletons, and having more means better, right? So I have 3 skeletons here. Now you can have 4 in total if you get another Grim Reaper element, but obviously as lucky as I am, I still haven't rolled that 3rd Grim Reaper, but I'm sure I'll get that soon. But even before that, I need to decide though, is it really worth to make a 4th Reaper ring? I mean, there's nothing else you can make with it, but if you want to switch to another element, you could at least switch back to Reaper. So I'm going to show you guys if the skeletons, having more skeletons, is any good to begin with. So right now I'm doing the Halloween dungeon because there aren't really any other dungeons where I can showcase the strength of my skeletons' numbers, because most of the time they'll just end up decimating the boss. As you can see, I have Reaper Mastery 400 now. They do 6,400 per hit. No boss aside from the Atlantis boss is going to survive that, but that is for the next segment of this video, where I'm going to be talking about how I feel about the skeleton ring and whether you guys should get it. And if you guys are thinking about getting it or rolling for another Reaper element just to craft it, I think you might want to see what I have to say about it. So definitely stick around to watch that, and we're gonna get to see if 3 skeletons will be able to decimate the final boss. Alright, so we have the Phantom King here. We have 3 skeletons. They absolutely deleted that boss. I don't even think the 3rd skeleton was needed there because the boss didn't have enough HP for it to even make a difference. Damn, that was fast. Oops, I was supposed to use this. Doesn't matter. We're not here first to see level floor 10 boss get decimated. We already know level floor 10 boss will get decimated by 2 Reapers. That's nothing to brag about. Alright, we are finally on the last floor here. We'll finally get to be able to witness this real soon. I'm just going to try and get my skeleton to die here so that I can have an army of full HP skeletons here. So if he dies, that'd be wonderful. Thank you for doing your service, Sir Skeleton. Get away from my precious babies. Okay, we are here at the Pumpkin King, the final last boss. We just need my skeletons to make it over. See if they can kill him. Can 3 skeletons kill him before he kills them? Oh my god. They did it. They did it. That was pretty impressive. They did kill that Pumpkin King pretty quickly, but that's only if they didn't get one shot on their way there, or if the Pumpkin King had just used an ability around himself to hit them, then it wouldn't have ended that way. So I'm in Atlantis medium mode, and in this segment of the video, I'm just going to express my overall opinion and insights on the Reaper ring, because if you're planning to make the Reaper ring, I think you should listen from my experiences, because truthfully, if I have to admit, the ring is utterly useless. It really seems remarkable on paper when you think about it, and when you see it for the first time, you can probably ask anyone in the lobby about the Reaper ring, and they'll probably say, like, you know, it's OP, but once you actually have it, you realize it just isn't. It's underwhelming, it's unsatisfying, it doesn't really meet its expectations when you have it, because you think having a little army of skeletons that do everything for you is great, but then you have to take into account the sacrifices and little nuances that make it worse, if not the same as having 2 skeletons. And to start, the first thing you'll realize off the bat is that you have to sacrifice your bonus stats that you get from your rings, because you have to take 1 ring off in order to equip the Reaper ring. And then the second point which intertwines with the first point because they're kind of similar, is that when you take off your stats, it becomes counterintuitive. Say you take off damage, you're taking off damage in order to get damage. You've effectively moved one step back to then take one step forward and end up in the same place. And then your skeletons, if you're sacrificing your HP, you make yourself more vulnerable as well as your skeletons, because your skeletons scale off of your HP. And I don't know the exact scaling of that, but I know that your skeletons do scale off your HP. So you make your skeletons effectively more skeleton-like, more fragile. And then that comes into the third point here, where when you're climbing dungeons, they get harder, and this is going to apply for in the future as well. Like, this already is very prevalent at Atlantis when you're fighting these mobs. These troops have AoE abilities, making your skeletons just die, because your skeletons group together, attack one dude, and all get hit by the same ability. So it's not really practical to have more than two of them. That leads to my fourth point. You're probably thinking, the boss. Okay, but the boss, it'll die faster. More DPS. 4 skeletons on the boss, 3 skeletons on the boss. It's gonna make a big difference, right? No, it's not, because as you'll see, when I fight against Poseidon here, my skeletons are useless. They don't do anything. They can't even touch the boss because the boss has some huge AoE spell that hits them before they can even get in their first swing. This is the most important thing that makes this useless. It's the way that the skeleton pathing is coded, in which where they all go and target the same enemy. So it doesn't matter if I had 10 skeletons, because they would all target the same enemy. And the truth is, you only need 1 skeleton or 2 to kill one enemy. Most of the time, your skeletons will finish them off in one shot. And if you have 10 of them following the same one skeleton to kill that one enemy, they won't be doing anything. So a way I think that they should fix this is if the skeletons had a bigger range and attack different enemies, you know, and instead of just the ring being better, the ability overall would be better. If they added some way to make it so that the skeletons could calculate if they could one-shot that unit, then, you know, one skeleton would dedicate its resources to that unit, that enemy over there, then your other skeleton would go and kill the other enemy. But as it is right now, your skeletons follow you and just target the same enemies. They both target, or your skeletons all target the same enemies, making them really useless in a lot of scenarios. So having more than 1 skeleton is not gonna be helpful here. And as a quality of life improvement suggestion, I really need them to add a skeleton counter, because I will lose track of how many skeletons I have, making me press R, and then that puts the ability on a cooldown refresh. Or if they just made it so that you can't use your summoning ability if you already maxed out on skeletons. Now it tells you when you put 3 of them, it displays a message, max skeleton summoned, but that appears for like a second, and your skeletons, sometimes you lose them because they get stuck behind obstacles and you're moving around, and you press R and, you know, there you go, you just wasted your ability because you can't summon any more skeletons. And doesn't I'm not talking just the ring itself, I'm talking about the ability overall. This implication, this added suggestion would make such a difference in quality of life for the users overall.
Let's go!